New at 6, a parking violation leads to all sorts of trouble for a pair of Green Country firefighters. They traveled east last week to pick up a donated fire truck, then decided to visit the nation's capital. That's when their visit took a detour. News on 6 reporter Chris Wright has more on a memorable trip for the firefighters from Tiny Warner.
Ladder trucks like this are a luxury item for the all-volunteer Warner Fire Department.
A small town department like ourselves, we would never have the resources to purchase or to buy an equipment like this.
So when the opportunity arose to acquire this one for free, the department jumped at it. It was offered by a foundation that refurbishes and donates used fire trucks and equipment. So Mike Shamblin and another firefighter took off from Tulsa and picked up the truck on Long Island in New York. They began to drive home, but first decided to do some sightseeing in Washington, D.C. Parking, though, proved difficult, but they say the Capitol Police directed them to a spot. They saw the sights, took some pictures, but returned to find their truck surrounded by cops.
There were several units there, and Secret Service was there. It was they definitely had a different impression of what was going on than we did.
So my lunch was interrupted by a frantic phone call that, two of our volunteer firemen were being detained in Washington, D.C.
County Commissioner Gene Wallace was told the Warner firefighters did not have a proper tag or license to drive the truck, and it would be impounded.
It was probably much more humorous to us because we were here and they were there, but they were very worried about what their future was going to be.
Didn't quite take an act of Congress, but rather the acts of congressmen to get them out of trouble. Dan Boren and Tom Coburn's office stepped in. The firefighters were deemed not to be a threat, and they were soon on their way back to Oklahoma. And surprisingly, Shamblin would like to return to D.C. as a tourist.
Didn't nearly get to see near as much as we wanted to. It's a beautiful place. Of course, a lot of history there, and just being there was an awe. It was great.
Well, Congressman Dan Boren even issued a statement this afternoon about the incident, saying, "I'm pleased that the truck was delivered, and we always want to help Oklahomans while they're visiting Washington, D.C. in any way we can." The lather truck was donated by the Terry Farrell Firefighters Fund. It's named in honor of a volunteer firefighter killed on 9/11. Chris Wright, the News on 6.